Hey, this is Ryan Thomas, and I want to share with you a message that I think is really important as you're going through this journey, as you're learning and reflecting back on the past, looking at possibly some mistakes that you've made, some things that you could have handled differently, things that if you knew then what you know now, you probably say, oh, I would have done this, or I would have said this, or I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have said this. And sometimes even that emotional energy can bring us down. You know, anytime we look back at regrets, it sort of becomes a little bit defeating. Or we look back at the past and we say, you know, why did this have to happen? Why did my child have to do this? Why did they have to treat me like this? And it almost feels sometimes hopeless, despite all of the good things or all of the new ideas that you may have, to say, how do I keep myself up? How do I pick myself up and continue the fight, continue to the effort to put into this? When I look back and I think, oh my gosh, it's like a battlefield in my past. You know, I had this once great relationship and now it just feels, you know, so destroyed. And I wanted to read you this quote because I think it's really important. And it says, nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. And I thought that was really profound. And it's simple, right? It's a reminder that says, look, sometimes there aren't any answers when we go back and say, oh, if I could do it all over again. The only thing we have now is today, is the ability for you and us every single day to change our thoughts, to change our minds, to evolve, to continue to transform, to improve ourselves, and say, what can I do today, tomorrow, the next day, for as long as you have the ability and the grace to be on this earth, to breathe, to live, and say, what can I do to better myself? I can't go back and change things. I can't go back and handle the situation any differently in the past. But what I can do is I know that I can start today and tomorrow and the next day, change my actions, my behaviors, the way I communicate in a way that's going to put me in a better position, even slowly, incrementally over the course of time, to change the ending. You know, a lot of times we think that the past and even the current version of our relationship or our situation today means that automatically that's how it's all going to end up. But the past doesn't direct anything. We don't have, but the past doesn't direct anything. The past doesn't have to dictate the future. We can control it. You already are controlling it by learning and growing and informing yourself about what's going on in my child's mind. What do I need to understand? What do I need to know? What can I do? How can I act differently? How can I change my behaviors? You are doing all of the right things. And even though you may not be able to see it right now, I need you to stay focused on the future that you're creating. Every single day that you are here, you are trying, you are showing up, you are putting out intentions to have a good, loving relationship with your child, to be accepted, and to be accepting of the situation and whatever your child is going through, to say, I'm willing to stick with it. I'm willing to take the silence or the nastiness sometimes because I know that I'm operating at a higher level than I was in the past. I know that I'm a different person than I was in the past. I know that, yes, I have grown into a stronger, more resilient person today than I was in the past. And have confidence that with every growing day, you're going to be stronger. As you're watching this right now, in a week, in 2 weeks, in 2 months, and hopefully 2 years, you're going to become an even better version of yourself. You're constantly transforming. And here's what you also have to remember, and this is really hard, especially when you haven't had contact in a while with your child, no matter how old they are, no matter how long the expanse has been of this disconnect, is that they're changing too. They're evolving too and transforming their lives. They're getting new stimulus, new catalysts into their life that is making them change, reevaluate, think of things differently. New opportunity begets new thoughts. New thoughts leads to new behavior. So remember that as they're out there living their lives, unfortunately disconnected from you in the way that you want to, that even though they'd made mistakes in the past, even though they did things in the past, they can change, right? They can pick up the phone and call you. That change is possible. It may not feel probable right now, but it's possible because they're a different person than they were today. And they're going to be a different person, a more evolved person than they are today moving forward. So that is what you have to stay focused on. Every single day can be movement and momentum towards the future. As I've often said with the situation with my dad is that, at a certain point, if you had asked me, will you ever have communication with your dad? Absolutely not. No way. He did X, Y, and Z to me. Then, over the course of time, hey, would you ever have contact? Well, I'll invite him to my graduation, but that's about it. That's about it. Then a little bit longer down the road, do you want to have anything to do with your dad? Well, I don't really know what the purpose would be. It's been so long. I don't really know how he would fit into my life. But, right now it's not something I'm really interested in. Hey, move a little bit longer. Hey, how's this thing with your dad going on? You don't really ever talk about him that much. Well, there's really not much to say. He's just not in my life. Well, you got a wedding coming up. Are you going to invite him? Well, I'm thinking about it. I might. Yeah, I'm going to invite him to my wedding. Down the road, that wasn't a bad encounter. Maybe I'll just see very lightly if maybe, we can talk every once in a while. Dad invited me to go golfing and then out to lunch. And I don't want him to get ahead of himself here, but, I might think about it. It can't be that hard. It was not going to be that bad. I'll go. Hey, yeah, I went to lunch or went to golf and Dad, and now he wants me to come over. Little too far, a little too fast. I'm going to slow things down a little bit. I think maybe that wouldn't be a bad thing to get together with Dad. We've been kind of like buddies, hanging out a little bit. My point is that you see the evolution. You see milestones in time. But just because I made a decision back here in the past doesn't have to dictate my future. Just like you said something, kid got mad at you, you have an opportunity to change it. You have an opportunity to make a difference every single day. The past doesn't dictate your ending. Today, with the decisions that you can make, you can create your own ending. You can have a part in doing everything you possibly can to change your mind, change your actions, change your perspective, your outlook on life. And that is something to be truly grateful for, but also sometimes take some reminding. So until next time, I'm Ryan Thomas. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.